If you want to make money, lose weight faster, or improve your relationships, it actually stems from this one thing. Hi, if you're new to me, my name is Raquel, and I'm your GPS for success. I'm doing this 21-day series around manifestation and Jesus lovers. And even if you're not a Jesus lover, but maybe you're a Jesus appreciator, this is still going to help you. So stick around. The thing that came to mind today was, what do all these three things have in common? And I thrive in my relationships. I don't have issues. I mean, when I do have issues, I know how to do the healthy boundaries, which we will be talking about. I've been able to lose over 20 pounds this year without excessive diet and exercise at all. And it all has come through this one portal as well that I'm going to share with you today. And it's something that you can immediately start to implement and start to see results. And the result you're going to see first is how you see and feel about yourself. And that's important because we're never going to go any farther than that. We're told in the good book that we will prosper and be in health as our soul, which is our mind, our will, and emotions prosper. And even in making money, it is the same thing. You're not going to go any further than how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself. And you can make the money, but if you're having issues keeping it, there are people who are very gifted in making the money, but they can't keep it. And so this is the same solution for that. And so if you're interested in the series, just keep on checking below. And again, this is day 8 of 21 that I'm doing. Is it 9? No, day 9. Day 8 was yesterday. Time is flying really fast. So this is the word that really makes everything manifest. And you're not going to like it. But stick with me because I'm going to tell you how you can speed it up. Because I like fast results. My hashtag fast results, if that's you too. And the word is process. We're told that, as the earth remains, seed, time, and harvest is going to be here as well. And some people call that karma. Some people say, you get what you put out. It comes across in many different forms, in many different ways, but it's all about you're going to get what you put out, which actually is not correct because it's seed and then harvest. And the harvest is always a multiplier. And what is the way? Time. It is the hallway. It is the process. It is the process actually makes you money. It's not that thing. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and sometimes you're in the middle of a launch or you want to do a particular thing. You're like, well, I want to do this to make money. Not understanding that their process in it is actually what's going to make them money. So then they go through this feast and famine because they never learned chasing the money, wanting to make the money. And there's actually nothing wrong with that. And we'll talk about that another day as well. Some people are just created that they want to make money, and that's like they want to do that because they have plans, and that's okay. That's also can be a high call and a high holy call when you're called to make money because you have all these philanthropy things that you're already doing on a smaller scale, and you want to do it on a larger scale. And so you're making the money so you can do the good things, the good works. So amen. Do that, boo. Do that. I bless you in that if that's you. And so what happens is that when you're trying to make the money without the process, you can make the money, but you will end up in feast and famine because you're not doing it in the right order. So I'm going to help you to go through the 4 stages of manifestation. And all these stages can be in the process in the same day. For instance, sometimes, when I'm doing one of the processes that I do to lose weight is I create my own guided meditations. And that is based off of Joshua 1, where we are told to meditate on God's word day and night. And so that what happens? God doesn't make you successful. We will find success. And the brilliance of God making it so easy, it's so easy for us and we make it complicated. We find out how we're wired to succeed here. And this is for everybody. So whether you're a Jesus lover or not, or you're maybe just a Jesus appreciator, you're wired this way. You're wired to succeed through meditation. The word meditation there is the word Haggah, and is broken down into different elements of meditation. So is meditation muttering to yourself? How many of you like talk to yourselves? You're like, yeah, because sometimes they need an expert opinion. Or maybe you're a verbal processor, right? So you need to talk out loud, and that's okay too. Or if you're not verbally processing out loud, you're verbally processing in here. That's still muttering to yourself, which is Haga, which is meditation. Another variation of that, in that word, it also means imagination, and your imagination is a commercial for your future. So as one of the modalities, one of the processes that I have is I create very specific guided meditations, self hypnosis for myself, and that's what I listen to. I have gone through these 4 stages of manifestation, which I'm going to break down for you very quickly. And in the same day, I have lost weight without, having to go starve myself or do an egg fast or, do keto or do anything. The way it comes about is first I meditate. And as I meditate on the good thing, then I get the inspiration of what to do. And that's really how I've been able to lose the weight and start to maintain more and more plateaus. The other day I weighed myself and I was down 24 pounds from the beginning of this year. And I'm over 50 years old now and perimenopausal. So it's not true that it's hard for you to lose the weight when you're older. It's only hard if you believe it's hard. That's part of the process. The process is really taking hold of a belief system. And how do you do that? How are you going to be successful? Or it says it right there, thousands of years ago, that's how we're wired to succeed, because we're made in the image and likeness of God. We're made to function like him. And so it's just like, he's our manufacturer. He knows how we work. And so when you leverage how you are designed and wired to succeed, you're going to succeed, and it's going to feel, some people, they're like, oh, it feels like magic, because they don't have another vocabulary for it. It's just like all of a sudden things happen. Just like all of a sudden, I'll, launch something, but I meditate into it first, and then, it always works out as part of the process. It's the meditating. What am I imagining? What am I muttering to myself? What am I thinking about? What am I focusing on? And many of you already know that what you focus on expands, literally what you're looking at, because your reticular system, right? Your eyes are like, oh, it gets activated. It's like, this is what we're doing. And that's the beauty of meditation, because you're doing it all the time. You're just doing it by default. And I'm helping you to do it by design. So in the process, you have to look at what is then the process. What is the process of manifestation? And we're told that in the good book, in the parable of the sower. So the first stage of manifestation is really where it can get snatched from you. And that is not understanding. When you do not understand, right? You're like, that just went over my head. Or maybe you didn't even mentally ascend, but it felt juicy and good in the moment. And you're like, oh my gosh, it feels so good. And then an hour later, someone's like, oh, you had a really great experience in that event, in that seminar, at that, service, at that, whatever it was. And what did you learn? And you can't even articulate. You're like, I don't know, it was really good. What did they say? Wah, wah. When you don't have understanding, that is the first stage of where the manifestation actually will die. So it's really important for you in the process to understand. Don't just go do this and do that. And I know a lot of times, people want the tactics, they want the strategies, but this is the principles. And when you have the principle in place, then the right strategies and the right tactics will show up for you. For instance, this morning, I was listening to a meditation that I created called Make Money. And within 6 minutes, I had an idea, and I sent it out to my email people. And so, I know that that's going to be generating not only cash for me, but opportunity for them to get what they need and have their one breakthrough now. That's what I'm very, very gifted at, is to give people their breakthrough then and there when they have these one-on-ones with me. And so it's like, okay, this is an exchange, but it's part of the process. It's understanding that selling is serving. And if I don't tell them, then how are they going to get their breakthrough, right? I'm the one who was sent to them. But if I don't open my mouth, how will they know? How will they know there's an opportunity to work with me one-on-one and, get it at an amazing rock bottom price, because I want to help them. So that's part of the process. It's understanding. Where are you not understanding? So if you let's say, right, if you are hitting a plateau with your weight, then there is some understanding that you don't have. It is not necessarily what you're doing. Because what happens is that we look at the outcomes and we're like, oh, it's because of what I was doing. No, it's actually because of what you were thinking. Your thinking, right? Again, where is your thinking? Meditation. Meditation is a form of thinking. When you're muttering to yourself, right? That's meditation. So your thinking process is actually what is causing your emotions to then kick off some actions or non-actions. And then from those actions, you get some results. But it all stems from the process of thinking. So if you are not purposely thinking in a strategic way, you're not leveraging how you are wired to succeed, you're going to find yourself in frustration. So in making money, you're like, well, I want to make money. I should try affiliate marketing. I should write an ebook. I should do this. I should do that, right? You have a lot of shoulds, and then you're shooting all over yourself. And what's happening? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. You're wasting your energy. You're getting frustrated because you're not working the process. And the process is thinking. And what's the first realm where you're going to hit a block is not understanding. And if you're having a block with that, then I suggest that you get this right here. Rewrite your story, because it's only for a handful of people where when you come into the society, you're going to get a bonus one-to-one with me, and you have access to the society. One of the things that the members get is that they have 24/7, basically, during business hours, text coaching with me. So not only will I help you, break that, and you'll get the understanding that you need, it's a way for you to sustain it. That's another part of the process. You're like not understanding, like, well, I had this breakthrough. Why, I had this great month, and now it's like, wah. I broke the plateau, and now it's like, wah. I was doing good with my kids. I was doing good with my man. I was doing good with my girl. And then all of a sudden my boss, and then, wah, right? Because there's a lack of understanding there, and that needs to be reset. And then once you have that understanding, the next step where things can get taken from you in this manifestation process is what do we see there? Did you get very happy? You have to be careful, right? Because a lot of times, people like, oh yeah, trigger their feelings because people buy out of emotion. Yes. But if you learn how to buy from your thinker and not your emotions, or buy into, right? It's not only buying with your money, but buying into an idea, buying into a belief system, buying into that person's story, and then finding out later that, maybe they didn't tell you the whole thing. And then you made judgments about something that you didn't even have the whole story for. And so in this, we're going to keep it positive. So you get really happy, you mentally ascend, you get some understanding, but because your commitment was shallow, when the heat comes, and it always comes, and I'll tell you the form that it normally comes in, it's going to wither. You're going to release it. And how does it come? So this is again the process. The process to manifest anything that you want is the same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want is going to be the same process. You need to have your breakthrough through understanding, right? That has to be the foundation. So that way you can start to take hold of it. Then you're going to get some traction. And whether that traction is, you're having that breakthrough now where you're able to see yourself differently. So you're going to feel about yourself differently, which means you're going to have different actions organically. And that means your results are automatically going to be better. But when the heat comes, so what is the heat? When your beautiful brain, because it's just doing what it's wired to do. It's your helper. Some people call it the lizard brain, but I've been talking about this in the last few videos, is that you can buy into the lizard brain, which actually is not actually how you're wired. You are wired for love. You are wired to succeed. The lizard brain is a program. It is not your default. Your default is love. And if you want more on that, then I recommend the book, The Perfect You by neuroscientist Dr. Caroline Leaf. You don't have to take my word for it. Go look it up. So like, wait a minute. I don't have to yet. You don't have to. Every thought gives you. And isn't that good news? Because that means that you can get your power back. So today is the day you get your power back through this understanding. Isn't this good? It means that every thought that you have, you are activating one of two systems within yourself. You are either activating love and success or fear. That's it. There's only love and fear. And you, as a free moral agent, get to decide which system you're going to activate. That's pretty much it. But why is it that you can get a little bit? The phrase that's coming to mind is from Danny Johnson. I heard this years ago. She said, the worst thing about success is a little bit. And this is really this second realm, the second piece of where it can stop the manifestation before it comes. Because you get a little bit of success, and that's why you get excited. Maybe you have the breakthrough, you had that, everything got better for a little bit, and then wah. But because your brain is then regurgitating to you what you have been thinking about for the last 60 or 90 days. See, the heat that is coming is not normally external. It is an internal battle. It is really the battle of the mind, because everything, the outcomes of the things that you are personally doing, right? Not other people, but we'll just focus on what you're doing and the actions that you're taking. Those outcomes are not based on anything other than your thoughts. And that is the good news, is that you can take your power back by thinking new thoughts. But what happens is that when you are doing this new thing, right? And maybe you did get some quick results. I like quick results. I like to give them. I like to have them, which is why I give them. But when you don't know the process of renewing your mind in a way where it's really creating some strong roots, what's happening is that, and it's going to happen anyway, your brain is looking for the easiest thought it can grab. So maybe you have a thought of like, maybe I can't do this again. And then you're like, oh, is that what you're thinking? You want to hold on to that thought? Here are all different ways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of why you can't have another successful launch, why this isn't going to get any better, why this was just a fluke. And then what happens? Then you feel like an imposter. Then you go into imposter syndrome for something that is actually not even true. When you break through, now you have become the person that can have that. But when you don't know how to combat those thoughts that you've been muttering to yourself, you've been imagining, you've been thinking over for the last 60 or 90 days, your brain is just looking for it's always looking for easy. It's very lazy. It's incredibly brilliant. It is a genius, but it's lazy. It was just like, what's the easiest thing that I can grab right now? And I'm just going to give it to her. I'm going to give it to him. That's the thing. So when the things are withering away, it's because you have not had the understanding of how to have the system in place, the process in place, the habit in place to combat that when it comes. But let's say you get really good at that, and you're going to get really good at that. I got so many free resources here. Go through this podcast, A Daily Shift. I have over 100 videos, including the shorts, because they give you like the little like snippets that are super powerful. And so you can just do that, and Netflix your way through that. And that alone is going to change your life. If you want to move faster, you work one-on-one. I mean, that's the point of a coach, is that you move faster. So you're really good. Now you're in the third stage of the process before manifest. And one of the things, and there's a couple things that we're told, but one of them is called the cares of this world. Now, the cares of this world doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean, we're adults, right? So we have to be adulting. There are just people that we're taking care of, even if the people is us. If you have a little furry one at home, they have specific needs, especially if you have a dog. It's like having a perpetual 3-year-old, which is why I don't have dogs, because my kids are grown. But I know I have a lot of friends who have dogs and they love their dogs, but it's a perpetual 3-year-old, and you have to be cleaning up after them, and they have to go to the vet, and there's a lot of things that could go wrong, and they need a lot of attention, and you need to make sure to take them out, and there's a lot of stuff, right, involved. You just can't go on vacation. And if you have an anxious animal, you have even more things that you have to be thinking about, right? That's a care. You need to care for that. You might have children, you might have a spouse, right? Or maybe you're single and free, but you're not so free because then maybe you have a business or you have, work. And so you're free maybe in those aspects, but your life is very, very full in other ways, and you have other responsibilities. So whether you're single or you're married, your lives are full. So this is like the cares of this world. And it's very easy that we don't, another word for right, which I just said, the process, the system, the habits in place. When the cares of this world happen, and they will, let's not be naive, they will happen. Some of it doesn't even come until you go on vacation. So maybe you're like really great. You have everything going. You have this plan. You're working on your mindset. You're working on your thoughts. You're doing your meditation. You're using that brilliant mind of yours in the right way. Critical thinkers. I have a lot of critical thinkers who are my clients. You have this wonderful way of seeing how it doesn't work. And so because you can see how it doesn't work, you can make up the processes and the systems and the habits so it can work. And maybe everything's fine until you go on vacation, and then all your habits go poo-poo. It's just like everything goes away, and it's harder to keep that system, that process in place. And so when these things are pulling at you, then you can start backing away from it. And then when you come back to yourself, or after that circumstance, after that moment, after that mini season, it might be hard for you to get back into momentum, which is why having a process matters. Having a system, creating those habits matter, because they're going to then quicken the manifestation cycle. And what's the last one that we see? 30, 60, and 100-fold. So let's talk about then that. What does that mean? What does that look like practically? So the 30-fold is, think about it like that hustle, grind, grit mentality. Does that work? 100%. 100% it works. We see it all the time. 100% it works, but it's not going to give you something lasting. You're going to be very tired. You're going to be very frustrated. And at some point you will burn out. You're either going to burn out, or you're going to burn bridges with people prematurely, or you're going to hurt your body, because that is really not the best way to manifest what you want. The 30 is there and you can do it. Yes. But there's a better way. And then we have 60. 60 is, think about that, the soul realm. We're told that we will prosper and be in health as our soul, which is our mind, our will, and emotions prospers. Mind. It tells you exactly how you can succeed. You will. And actually, in some translations, it says shall. Shall is the strongest word in our English language. It's not a matter of if. It's going to happen. You will prosper. You will be in health, as it's an exact equation. Your soul, which is your mind, first. Your will drives you. Your emotions is the fire. It's last. A lot of times people want to make the emotions first. I'm such a feeler. Or you need to feel into it. Or you need to hold on to that frequency. I'm going to talk about that soon too. That's actually, you can't do it that way, but that's the harder way. The easier way is to leverage how you are wired to succeed, which is to leverage the soul prosperity first. Get your mind right first. If you spend more time getting your mind right, when you get to those actions, they will be chef's kiss, and they will be right on target. Everything you do will succeed, but first you have to get your mind right. Or you can keep on throwing spaghetti to the wall and see what sticks. How's that working for you? Go ahead, I'll wait. It's not so great, right? You're tired. You're frustrated. You're wasting a lot of time and money. And maybe you are making the money, but you're like, I don't know. I can't even scale. You can't scale that way. You can't. There's a better way. And that's the soul prosperity way. But what's even better than that? It's the 100-fold. So what does a 100-fold look like? For us Jesus lovers, we are actually created and been recreated in him back to the blueprint. And the blueprint is the meditation. It is first coming into the rest. And from resting, and meditation is a great way to come into the rest by abiding in him, right? Thinking about the good and pure and perfect things, keeping your mind filled with that first, and then receiving a refresher. And as you are resting, that's the hundredfold, you're going to get the inspired action. What's inspiration? Inspiration has the connotation of the breath of God. God literally will give you an idea. I talked about this, I think it was yesterday or the day before. And it was like, you're asking God, you're like, I want to make money. And then he gives you an idea and you're like, yeah, but not that. I want to have a better marriage. And then God tells you what to do. He gives you an idea and you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to lose weight. And then God tells you how you're designed, how your particular body is designed. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Or do you want what you want or not? And maybe you're frustrated because you've been getting ideas and not being able to discern which ideas for now, which ideas for you, and which ideas for you to give away, which loops back to not understanding. So when you don't have understanding, you're going to get and feel stuck. When you have a little bit of understanding, have a little bit of success, but you didn't know how to root that new thought and belief system in yourself in order for you to have consistent results, things will start to fade. Feast and famine. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. Most times you don't. And even when you do, you're on a roll. But if you don't have your processes, your systems, your habits in place, when life starts lifing, this is the thing. Life is going to be lifing, and you get to decide, is it going to be a hard fall or a soft one? And understanding that process is the way for you to have a soft landing when that happens. That's the part that should make you excited, because that means you're going to continue to have momentum and continue to move forward no matter what happens in your life. And that hundredfold return comes from those divine ideas, that light bulb, like, oh, this is it. That's what I need to do. That was it right there. You don't need to know the whole plan, just the next thing. Be faithful to that. And the more you are faithful to yourself and to that idea was the answer to your prayer, was the answer to your desire, is the answer to get to where you want to go. It is the next stop in the GPS navigation to what you want. And it may not even be related. You might get an idea to call this person, to post this thing, to even wear something specific. A long time ago, I had another channel, and my hair was blue. People had dreams about me. And I remember one particular person, she actually drew me and she sent me a picture before she saw me. People might even have dreams about you, like, well, I don't know, I just feel like wearing that today. Oh, I knew I was going to meet somebody. She was going to have, pink on. She was going to have some kind of butterfly on her. It sounds weird, but it happens. I've had people dream about me, see my face, have visions. One lady is coming to mind, and my life is supernatural, man. She was walking by her TV looked like it was turned on, and I was on the television. And then she saw me like the next day, I think it was the next day, on YouTube. And she was just like, what the? They're like, that sounds weird. What can I say? You're going to hang out with me. You're going to have some amazing things happen in your life. That's the hundredfold return. It was just ideas that I ran with, and they were very successful. But I didn't have some of these things in place. And so when life went lifing and I was betrayed, I didn't know how to handle it because I didn't have things in place, right? So I had to start all over, which is fine. I'm in a better place now, and I have better systems in place. We're all a work in progress. Process. What is your process for understanding? What is your process to root in the thought? Stop doing all the things. The thing you need to do is focus on you, truly. Focus on your mindset, truly, on personal development, truly. Get your mind right first. And if you only have 4 hours in your day to work on your whatever it is, and that's your investment time, then you are better off investing in your mind, getting your mind right, getting your thoughts together, connecting with your badass self, who you really are, for 3 of those 4 hours, because that 1 hour is going to be spectacular. I get so much done in 2 hours, but I spend hours and hours before I start. Hours and hours before I start. This is why I continually have great results. And you can too. And I get challenged with things, and and then a thought comes up, and I even have a coach. Coaches, everybody needs a coach, because you need somebody outside of yourself who can catch those erroneous belief systems and be like, there's a thought. That's the actual thought that's keeping you in bondage. And if it's the truth that sets you free, it's a lie that keeps you captive. There are lies that we all believe, and they're so normal, we don't even question them. And that's what I do with my coach, and that's what I do with you here, and that's what I do with you when you're on my one-on-one, and what I do with you in the society. Because we need somebody sometimes outside of ourselves to catch the things that we're saying. They were like, wait, where do we get that from? And we need to deconstruct that stronghold. We need to smash it. And that's the thing, is that you're getting breakthroughs and you're not maintaining it. You're like, why can't I maintain it? Because you don't have the right structure, process, habits in place. And it's very easy to do. You're created for it to be easy for you, but you don't know what those things are. And part of that is in Joshua 1:8, meditation, muttering to yourself, imagining, roaring out, creating with your words. You are always creating with your words, for death and life are in the power of your tongue, and you will eat, and you're already eating the fruit of it all the time. The words that you're muttering in here, the words that you're saying as you're trying to process verbally, you're eating your words all the time. And in some of my circles, when they hear sirens, they're like, oh, that was really important. Yes, it is. Well, I love you very much. Until next time, which will be very, very soon. May God's riches and bless be yours. And don't forget that now is your turn and your time to rewrite your story. It's your choice to make. And you can have a better tomorrow when you start today.